Thank you all so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to log in for the virtual travel show and a lot to cover. I have Mark Jacobson with me today, and he's going to go over a number of his trips that he's operating and running as a tour director. And very grateful for your time as well, Mark. Thanks for logging in.
Thank you,
We'll
Will. Hello,
go
everybody.
through a number of great programs. And again, thank everybody for logging in. We do have the chat open today, so feel free to participate with any questions as we go. But a lot of great programs, both domestically as well as international, that I'll talk about. And Mark will go into his schedule a little bit as we go through the show. For those that are newer to us that haven't traveled with AFC, what we provide are worldwide tours and cruises. And these are group travel experiences all around the world. So over 80 destinations worldwide. We do motor coach tours through the national parks and in Europe. We do train tours. Japan is a brand new one that we added, Discover Japan by Bullet Train. So that's a fantastic program, as well through the national parks. A lot of great train experiences there. And then our European river cruise charters. Mark and I just ran one in December with Chris McCool and had a great time, a wonderful opportunity to see the Christmas markets, but all throughout the year, we have a lot of great options on those. And then our one hotel stays. Those are really great for being able to unpack your suitcase and settle into one property for your entire trip. And it takes a lot of the strategy, a lot of the timing off of the program, so you get to relax and settle in much more like a vacation. What's included with an AFC vacation, first and foremost, is round-trip airfare, and we show that in the brochure by each gateway. If you don't see your gateway, or if you have friends or family members that want to join you from other parts of the country, we are more than happy to incorporate them onto the tour. We would just work with them on getting them to the destination based on their flight schedule and their air gateway. We also have a couple of guarantees. One is our guaranteed departures, and you'll see the symbol GD in our brochure and on the show. That means there's enough passengers on that date to travel, and it's good to go out the door. And as we progress throughout 2026, it's crazy to even think about we're already there. But as we progress through the year, more and more departures will go to guaranteed status. We also have guaranteed pricing. And what that means is once you put your deposit down on a trip, your price is locked in. And that's even as oil and fuel prices change and they affect our vendors, that price change doesn't affect you. So make sure you put your deposit down, lock in your space because it is first come, first serve. And then one of the biggest values that we offer is our home pickup airport service. And this is a really great opportunity for folks to make the travel process easier. So we pick you up at your door, take you to the airport, and bring you back at the end of the trip. And that's included within a 40-mile radius of your airport. If you're beyond 40 miles, we add a little surcharge on there to cover the cost of the transportation. But in general, it's a really great value and simplifies the travel process. If you don't want to use our home pickup, we do provide a credit of $100 at the end of your final payment. So we take about $100 off of your total. What the company really stands for is real people and real service. And we've been in business since 1982. So a wonderful stretch of 44 years in the travel industry. Taking care of people is our primary focus, and a really wonderful team in our office and on the road with our tour directors. We are also part of the USTOA, that's the United States Tour Operators Association, and that has a $1 million Travelers Assistance Program. So if for any reason the company did go through insolvency, your funds are protected. But we've been running strong. We've made it through a number of different scenarios around the world, even from 9/11 all the way back to the 2008 crisis. So we've been going strong, and we anticipate a continued success with that. We have a lot of different offers that we put out, and some that can save you a lot of money on your trip. For the starting point, I want to mention our risk-free deposits. So up until 6 months prior to departure, your tour is fully refundable, cash refund. Between 6 months and 3 months out, when final payments due at 90 days, that is available via future travel credit for any cancellation fees, deposits, or travel protection. So you can use that within a year of the program. And that's even without the travel insurance. So it's a really great program that we incentivized for folks to book on their trips. And if things do come up, we understand. We'll work with you on those. Our Travelers Club is a loyalty program. And so if you do book a trip and a second tour with us within 18 months, you automatically receive a $100 loyalty credit. And we have folks that do 6, 7, 10 trips a year with us. So really great loyal customers that we absolutely love and cherish. Really appreciate all of you. And if you do travel with us on a regular basis within that 18-month period, you get a $100 deduction off your next tour. We also started as a very small company, and we've grown from coast to coast at this time. And that's because people told their friends and family members about us, and they traveled with us and loved it. So if you do tell your friends and family about AFC and they use your name when they book, your next tour after they travel is $100 off. And finally, our early booking savings, and it applies to more people than ever. The first 20 passengers to book on a tour get the largest amount of savings, up to $100 off domestic or international, and up to $200 off on our European river cruise per person. The second segment is the 21st through 40th traveler, still saves about $75 off on their domestic or international, and about $100 off on our European river cruises. So it does pay to book early. Now, getting into some of our departures, one of our most popular trips are our mystery tours. And we have some great programs running out throughout the year. Deb just got back from our February mystery tour and had a great time on that one. Saw a bunch of your pictures, Deb, and it was awesome. Our next one is May 17th, and that is a guaranteed departure for our spring mystery tour. And how these work, we don't tell you where you're going. You tell us where you've been before, areas that you're interested in, or areas that you want to avoid, and our staff directs you to the right date for you. And we do run one mystery tour a year that goes internationally, and that's our August 9th departure. And once you book on a mystery tour, we send you a packet about 3 weeks out from departure, and that has how to pack, the average weather in the destination, as well as another tab that does go over the details of the trip. So if you can't help yourself, if you want to know where it's going and all the details once you book, that is available. We just ask you not to share it. And then it's always fun to tell the people at the airport counter you don't know where you're going. But it's a really enjoyable experience. We plan all sorts of different activities and events throughout the trips. And just for some examples, in the past, we've used areas like Tampa Bay, Birmingham, Alabama, where we went to Muscle Shoals, the recording studio, and a number of others. So our international mystery tour does stay within North America, very safe destinations. And again, we go just about every month or two out on these programs, but they're 5 days in length, reasonable pricing, and 7 meals included. Into some of our great national parks trips coming up in the spring and into the fall. Our Utah's Mighty National Parks is one of our top selling trips. And you can see our first 3 departures, June, September 20th and September 27th, are all guaranteed already. This one flies in and out of Salt Lake. We'll work our way down to Moab and get a chance to spend 4 nights in one hotel, seeing a number of different national parks from there. We'll go out to Capitol Reef National Park, and Moab is also very close to both Arches and Canyonlands, so it's a perfect hub for those 2 parks. We'll see Canyonlands at night, where we'll do a boat cruise along the Colorado River, and they shine lights up on the walls of the canyon, seeing some of the different drawings and components from the Native Americans and much more. We also go to Dead Horse Point, and this is the bend of the Colorado River. That's a very famous site. We'll drive down to Monument Valley, and we do a tour with a Navajo Native guide. So it's a really fun component of that program. And then Arches, with its over 2,000 arch formations, is one of the highlighted national parks in our country. We'll finish the tour back in Park City and then fly home back out of Salt Lake. And it's a really wonderful 8-day, 7-night program. Our Colorado Rails and National Parks tour is another great one that hits some great highlights along the way. And this one is round trip into Denver. We'll loop from Denver after 1 night into Vail, so you get to see the resort property, as well learn about the 10th Mountain Division that trained in that area. They were part of World War II, and they have a statue to the 10th Mountain right in town. We then go over to Grand Junction, and this is a wonderful hop-off point to go out to Arches and Canyonlands from. So we'll do 2 nights in Grand Junction. We then head to Silverton and do the Silverton-Durango Railroad. And so it's a one-way trip down into Durango where we spend 2 nights, and we'll head out to Mesa Verde and seeing that beautiful Native American cliff dwelling. As we work our way to Colorado Springs, we'll also stop at the Great Sand Dunes National Park. And then there's so many great highlights from Colorado Springs to see. We'll visit the U.S. Olympic Center, so some of the training grounds for some of the Olympians that just went to the Olympics in Milan. And then a couple of great train experiences in this area as well. We'll do the Pikes Peak Cogway and then the Royal Gorge Railroad, and that goes through the tremendous valley and along the river. We finish back in Denver and then fly out, and our first 3 departures of the year are already guaranteed with June, July, and August. One of my favorite programs to lead as a tour director as well as to talk about is our Black Hills and Badlands program. And you can see its popularity up above. All of our dates are guaranteed, and 2 have already sold out in July. So the remaining dates, June 10th, August 19th, and September 9th, have limited space remaining on these programs, but it is a wonderful program to get to experience. We'll fly into Rapid City, and that's a 1-hotel stay. So we stay right in the downtown area for 6 nights. From there, we'll go out to the Badlands National Park and get to see the different layers of geology. We also visit Wall Drug, which is a famous stop along the highway that makes its way to the west. We'll stay and visit Fort Hays, and this is where the movie Dances with Wolves with Kevin Costner was filmed. So a lot of the film sites were right there. And that's where we do a chuck wagon supper dinner and a great performance, a cowboy show. From there, we'll go out to Mount Rushmore, and we see Mount Rushmore both in the day as well as night. We'll see it in the afternoon, and then come back for the illuminations ceremony. And that's where a park ranger comes out and displays the mountain under the lights as they talk about the history and the development of the area. And then we'll also work our way into Wyoming on this trip. We'll stop in Deadwood, learning about the Wild West shootouts, and over to Devil's Tower and that beautiful monolith. We also see Crazy Horse Memorial, and then we take the 1880 steam train through the Black Hills, so you get to learn about that. But really a highlight on this program is our Custer State Park visit, and that's where we go on the Buffalo Jeep Safari. And there are over 1,000 head of buffalo in this state park, so we are taken out by a guide in a Jeep and get to see these animals up close and personal in a safe environment. So wonderful program going out in the summer and early fall. And then a brand new program that we've run in some ways in the past, but we adjusted it to make it even better, is our North Carolina and Outer Banks tour. And the May 14th departure is already guaranteed. There's still some space available on that. And Deb Howard is running the May 14th and September 10th departures. But the September 10th and 19th still have plenty of space. We'll start out by flying into Raleigh, and this is known as the Oak City. It's a really beautiful city with great architecture as well, these fascinating old oak trees. We'll do a city tour around Raleigh, so you get to see the Capitol and some of the great structures around it. Then we'll head out to the coastline, and we stay 2 nights in Atlantic Beach. Now from this area, we'll get a chance to explore some of the smaller towns along the coastline. We'll do a 90-minute inner harbor or inner banks cruise, so you get to see the island chain as well as the mainland. And then learning about some of the great history of pirates along this coast. There are a tremendous number of shipwrecks that occurred along this coastline. And we'll also visit Ocracoke Island, which is the location where Blackbeard was killed. Along the coast, we'll work our way up to the north in Nag's Head, and that is known as a horse's head, and that's where they tied a lantern to the horse, and it was intended to draw any of the ships in and crash them by the wreckers. So a lot of the shipwrecks occurred up in the north there. One of the great experiences on this program is the off-road nature safari, and that's where we take specialized vehicles out through the marshes and into the beach areas where these wild horses roam. And these are some majestic animals that date back to the Spanish era. They're related to some of the original Spanish horses that came to the Americas. So it's a really fun journey. We also see the Wright Brothers Memorial, and it is built up on a hill. You can walk the hill or stay down at the visitor center, but you can see the memorial from any angle, and it's a really great visit to learn about the history of flight. And then we'll finish by coming back into Raleigh for our last night before flying home. So one of the great aspects of this tour as well is our oceanfront properties, both in Nags Head and Atlantic Beach. And it's always fun to try that wonderful sweet tea. As we explore one of the great settings of America, the development of America, we built a program specifically for the 250th anniversary of the country, and that's our Explore America's Historic East. Now, we run 2 departures on this, September 20th and October 11th, and what this program does is starting in Philadelphia for one night, we'll get a chance to see some of the great components there with Independence Hall and the Liberty Bell. We then work our way over to Amish country, and in Lancaster, we learn some about the Amish and Mennonite way of life. And then continuing on over into Gettysburg. We'll do a 2-night stay in Gettysburg and get a chance to see the battlefields as well, a number of other components. The panorama, which is the big display of the battle inside the visitor center, is really incredible there. We'll continue down to Shenandoah National Park. And this is actually where the Confederate soldiers used to march through the valley in a protected area as they worked their way north. So some great landscape as well as Civil War history. Into Charlottesville for a night, where we'll do a area tour. We'll get a chance to see Monticello and learn about Thomas Jefferson's estate. And then over to Richmond, which was the hub of the Confederate Army. So that's where a lot of the prisoners of war were held. Some great stories around that. Lots of fun ghost stories as well. And then down into Williamsburg. And that's a great colonial settlement where we spend one night and get to see some of the colonial aspects of the town. We continue up to Washington, D.C. for 3 nights. And that's where we get to see Mount Vernon, which is George and Martha Washington's estate, and learn all about their life on the farm. It's also where George Washington is buried, right next to the river there. And then from Washington, D.C., we'll also see Arlington National Cemetery. We try to time it up with the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And we do an illuminations tour of the monuments in D.C. So that's a really fun aspect of getting to explore that area. But it's a 9-day program, 13 meals included, going out in September and October. Our Virginia Rails and Williamsburg tour absolutely popped last year. This was the first year we ran it in 2025, and every single departure was either fully guaranteed or sold out. And we're getting to that standpoint with 2026 as well, as you can see all the different guaranteed departures. This one's fun in that it starts in Washington, D.C., and we'll do that illuminations tour of the monuments and stay a night there. And then from Elkins, West Virginia, where our 2-night stay is going to be located, we do 2 different train rides. One is on the Potomac Eagle Scenic Train, and that takes us along the Potomac River, seeing some of the great historic farmlands as well bald eagle habitat. We also go down to the New Tigert Flyer, and that's a restored diesel engine that takes us up through the wilderness a little bit more. We work our way down to the Greenbrier Resort, and that's a wonderful historic hotel property dating back to 1776, so the year our country was founded. And it's also got a bunker in the basement, and that was built during the Cold War to allow any of the diplomats to escape Washington, D.C. if anything occurred there. We'll stop in Monticello to see Thomas Jefferson's estate, and then over to Williamsburg, Jamestown, and Yorktown for a 3-night stay in Williamsburg. So a wonderful trip going out in May, September, October, with plenty of dates. Another wonderful program is our Brandywine, Philadelphia, and Amish Country tour. And this one's changed a bunch over the years, and we've created it as a 1-hotel stay. So we do 5 nights in Philadelphia. We work our way out from Philly on a city tour, so we get to see the historic mile, the long stretch where Independence Hall is located, and the Liberty Bell. We also go over to the terminal market for a chance at exploring some of the great vendors and grabbing some lunch there. And then out to Valley Forge. And this is where George Washington brought the troops together in their winter encampment and really forged the American Army at that time, the Continental Army. We'll see his headquarters as well as a number of the battlefields there. We also work our way over to Hershey, Pennsylvania. And so if you like chocolate as much as I do, it's a really fun stop to learn about Milton Hershey and the backstory of the company, as well as all the different brands that fall under Hershey, including Reese's. We also work our way over to a couple of really beautiful mansions and garden areas, and that is Nemours Mansion and Longwood Gardens. And these were properties owned by the DuPont family, who made smokeless gunpowder. So really wealthy family, and these estates are just massive, absolutely beautiful. We'll continue down and work our way out to Amish country. And this is a full day experience where we'll go out to an Amish farm, as well learn how they make the beautiful quilts, and then have a wonderful family-style dinner as our farewell. So this one's guaranteed for June. We still have plenty of space on our September 27th departure as well. 6 days and 5 nights in one hotel, so you don't have to pack and unpack. Getting out to the East Coast, the very far east, in our Cape Cod and the Islands tour. This one's a fun trip because we visit Boston to start out with, and we'll do a Boston City tour there. We then head out to Plymouth, and we'll get to see the Plymouth or Pawtucket plantation, as well as the Mayflower II, the replica of the famous ship that brought the Pilgrims over. We then base ourselves for 5 nights in either Hyannis or Yarmouth, and these are wonderful towns right out on the Cape, and they make it easy to get to some of our different stops. And we'll take the ferry out to Martha's Vineyard and get a chance to see Edgartown and a number of other sites. We also go to Nantucket, and in Nantucket, we'll visit the Whaling Museum and learn a lot about how the wealth came into the area. From there, we head down into Newport, Rhode Island, and that's where we get to see the beautiful drive along the coastline and visit the Breakers Mansion. And it's an incredible estate that we get a tour inside. We'll also see the National Tennis Hall of Fame as we tour the Newport area. And then Provincetown. That's up on the tip of the Cape. It's a wonderful harbor area, and that's actually where the Pilgrims initially landed or struck anchor. So you can see all of our departures for this year are already guaranteed from June all the way into October. It's a wonderful, wonderful trip, especially getting to settle out on the Cape and see all this beautiful stretch of land. Another really popular tour that we offer in the summertime is our main coastal lighthouses. And the difference on our Boston City tour on this one is that we include Fenway Park. And it's a really wonderful ballpark. If you like baseball, even if you don't, getting a chance to see the historic ballpark is really fun. We'll do the other main sites in Boston, like Boston Commons and Old North Church, where Paul Revere made his famous ride. And then we'll work our way up through New Hampshire and into Maine and travel along the coastline, seeing some of the jagged coasts, the beautiful waters, and make our way up to either Kennebunkport or Ogunquit for a 5-night stay. And from there, these are wonderful harbors. We get a chance to do a couple of different cruises. One is Casco Bay, and the other is a lobster boat cruise. So we'll take you out with lobster fishermen. They'll show you what they're looking for in the lobster, and these can weigh anywhere from 8 to 10 pounds in some cases, so they're absolutely massive. We also do a lobster clam bake on this tour. And then visiting Portland as one of the largest cities in Maine, we'll go out to Portland Head Lighthouse and Cape Nettic Lighthouse, as well as seeing Walker's Point, which is the George Bush compound. So great program going July, September, and October. And a really, really exciting program that I love talking about is our Kenya Safari. And this is a really fun experience going on a bucket list item for most people. I'm leading the October 29th departure, and that's already guaranteed. We still have a few spaces left, so if you do want to experience an amazing safari in Africa, this is a great opportunity to do so. We also have a November 5th date on this as well. And so how this program operates is a flight into Nairobi as our hub, and we spend our first night there and a really wonderful hotel property in Nairobi. We then work our way to the south, and we'll see Amboseli National Park, which has a tremendous herd of elephants. Along that stretch, we'll also get a chance to go over to the Giraffe Center. And if you've seen the people having breakfast and the giraffes peeking their head in, that is the same location. We just go up to a platform and we get to enjoy feeding the giraffes directly. And sometimes they'll even kiss you. From there, we continue up to the Mount Kenya Safari Club, and this is a Fairmont Hotel property. It's a really fun spot. We'll do a dinner there, a really nice hotel experience. And then from there up to Samburu National Reserve. An amazing difference of wildlife throughout that park. Water buffalo, zebras, giraffes, and everything in between. Down into Sweetwater's Game Reserve, Lake Nakuru, and that's where we see a lot of pink flamingos. And of course, the Masai Mara. And this is part of the Great Migration that takes place every year. We visit into Kenya in a time where the Great Migration has already taken place. So you get to see the most amount of animals. And we do 10 different game drives on this program. So game drives are where we go out in jeeps and going to see the natural habitat and getting to see the animals. We also take folks to the Goodall Chimpanzee Center. So I know Jane Goodall just passed away recently. It's a wonderful tribute to her and her energies that she put into making sure these animals stay safe and healthy. So wonderful program, 13 days, 29 meals included. One program that Mark is going to run this year is our Athens and Greek Islands program, and he's taking the April 21st departure of this. I know he's excited. I'm going to be there around the same time, and I'm excited because it's just such a beautiful destination in the world. A lot of people think it's best to do this area by cruise, but you only get about 6 to 8 hours maximum on each island at a time. And so you don't really get to see it for yourself. You're surrounded by tourists in that sense. And what we've done is built a program that actually gives you some quality time in the island chain as well as in Athens. So we start out by flying into Athens. We'll do a city tour that features the Parthenon, the Acropolis, and the Acropolis Museum, which is a wonderful site. About 30,000 different artifacts within the museum. And then we'll take the high-speed ferry out to Santorini. And that's where we'll do 2 nights in a hotel on Santorini. We'll get a chance to explore the town of Ia, the village, and also do a great wine tasting. And Santorini is built up on a caldera, a former volcano, with really rich mineral soils that make for great wines. From there, we'll also work our way over to Mykonos, and we stay 2 nights on the island of Mykonos. We'll take a day trip out to the island of Delos as well, and that's a current archaeological site with the Terrace of the Lions and the Sacred Way, which is the main roadway through the island. And then we continue back into Athens for our last night. So really wonderful touring experience on the main body of the tour. And then we also offer an extension up to the north to Kalambaka and Delphi. Kalambaka is home to Meteora, which are a number of different monasteries that are built up on sandstone pillars out in the valley. From there, we continue over into Delphi, and that's where a number of historical sites are located. We'll see the amphitheater and some of the beautiful structures, the temples along that stretch. And we finished that extension in Athens for an additional night. But 9 days, 7 nights, and a wonderful experience out through the island chain. Now, one of our longtime tour managers who does a great job out on the road and really steps up and takes care of folks as they travel. We're privileged to have Mark Jacobson with us, and Mark and I just ran a Danube River cruise just back in December and had a great time on that one. But I want to hand it off to Mark and let you go forward with the show. So thank you all so much. And Mark, take it away.
Thank you, Will. Hello to everyone. I'm so glad you could join us today. I'm excited to tell you about some of the tours I'll be leading this year or have led in recent years. And we're going to be talking about the California Rail Discovery Tour. I don't believe we have a slide on that, but I'm going to be doing the June 3rd through the 9th departure. If you check our catalog or website, you'll see that there's many other departures available as well. But I want you to go with me. So anyway, we fly into San Francisco, fly in and out of San Francisco. I shouldn't say in and out. We fly into San Francisco. And our accommodations are in the downtown area, generally either at Fisherman's Wharf or Union Square. We do the traditional welcome dinner. The next day, I take you on a San Francisco city tour. We hit all the sites like Chinatown, Golden Gate Park, Civic Center, et cetera, et cetera. Later on in the morning, we go up and do the San Francisco Bay Cruise. We'll take you out by Alcatraz, Sausalito, and under the Golden Gate Bridge. And then in the afternoon of that day, we take you to Muir Woods. named for John Muir, famously known as the father of our national parks, and get a chance to walk amongst the giant redwoods. It's very peaceful and quiet. The air is wonderful. Come back to the hotel, which, by the way, we're at that hotel for 2 nights, so you get plenty of time in San Francisco. That evening is free, but I generally offer to take people on a cable car ride, because who doesn't want to do a cable car ride in San Francisco? Next day, we head up to the Napa Valley, and we stop at a Sonoma Valley winery, Gunlok Banshu Winery, which is California's oldest family-owned winery, dating back to 1858. That's a really cool place because it's a cave tour and tasting, and they specialize in cool climate wines like Gewürztraminer and Cabernet Sauvignon, also Pinot Noir. We have lunch on our own, generally in Napa, downtown, so you can experience the Napa Valley as well. And then we head over to Sacramento in the afternoon and do the California State Railroad Museum, which is very cool. Stayed the night in Sacramento, have dinner in Sacramento included. Generally, that's right on the river, Sacramento River there, so that's very nice. Next day, we head on the train, the famous California Zephyr train, Amtrak train to Truckee, California. We head over the Sierra Nevada mountains and over the famous, or should say infamous, Donner Pass. We have lunch on our own at Truckee Village, which has kind of got that small downtown vibe. Truckee was a bustling railroad and logging hub, and today it's good. It's got a lot of modern boutiques and art galleries and what have you. Only about 20 miles north of Lake Tahoe is where we end up on the train in Truckee. So we head down to Lake Tahoe then, and Lake Tahoe is the largest alpine lake in North America. It's located right on the California-Nevada border, 22 miles long, sits at 6,200 feet. It has a depth of over 1,600 feet, which makes it the second deepest lake in the U.S. And so our bus route will be around the north end and the east side of Lake Tahoe. We'll stop for some picture stops along the way before we get down to State Line, Nevada, where we're going to be spending 2 nights. And generally, it's at one of the casino hotels on the South Shore, kind of right on the border there with California. So they've got a strip down there called the Casino Corridor that has a lot of restaurants and shops and what have you. So it's a very walkable location, and people enjoy that. Then we head over to Lake Tahoe, or excuse me, we head over to Reno and do that the next day. En route, we generally stop in Carson City to take a picture of their Capitol building. And then also in Reno, we stop at the Biggest Little City sign. We go to the National Automobile Museum, which may not sound that fun to you ladies, but it's really fun. They give you the opportunity to dress up in vintage clothes and have your picture taken in an antique car. That museum also has one of the original Batmobiles, so it's pretty cool. Then we head over to Virginia City in the afternoon. We have lunch there, and Virginia City, of course, was founded back in the 1800s, 1859, with the discovery of the Comstock Lode silver deposit. And today it's known as a living ghost town with wooden boardwalks, saloons, museum, and just kind of that Old West charm. And so you'll have time to do what you'd like to do there. They've got haunted tours. They've got the Virginia City Outlaws show, kind of a gunfight on Main Street. They've got a train ride. They've got mine tours. And so then our very last day on that tour is back in Lake Tahoe. You got a little bit of free time in the morning. And then later on in the morning, we take the MS Dixie 2 for a 2-hour sightseeing cruise of Lake Tahoe. And that will take us into Emerald Bay, which is known for its stunning turquoise waters and its granite cliffs, and also some of the most beautiful lakefront homes in Lake Tahoe, including the 1929 Vikings home castle. And so it's really a nice cruise. And then we do our farewell dinner also that evening at a restaurant with great lake views and great food. We fly back from Sacramento, and so it's just a short trip from Lake Tahoe back to Sacramento to do that. And this itinerary, I think, is really special because it combines the iconic cities, the really breathtaking scenery that we see in the Sierra Nevada, and then, of course, rail travel is always fun. So people really enjoy that. Okay. Now back to, do you want me to talk about Mackinac Island now, Reece?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right. So Mackinac Island, Grand Hotel in Niagara Falls. I'm going to be doing the September 28th, October to October 5th departure. And of course, that's during fall foliage season, which is the most popular time. We fly into Detroit on this tour, and we do some touring in Detroit. We'll tour the River Rouge plant where the Ford F-150 trucks are built. We go to the Henry Ford Museum, which is he's got a great collection of things there, like the Rosa Parks bus, Abraham Lincoln's limo, or chair that he was assassinated in, the limo where President Kennedy was shot. Also, there's the Greenfield Village there that was established by Henry Ford in 1929, a living history museum. And so that's our day in Detroit before we head out to Mackinac Island the next day. Get up to Mackinac Island and we do the 15 to 20-minute ferry ride over to Mackinac City. From Mackinac City over to the island. And I tell you, if you've never been to Mackinac Island before, it's like stepping back in time because transportation is via horse-drawn carriages or bicycles. And if you've ever seen that movie Somewhere in Time that was filmed on Mackinac Island, Jane Seymour and Christopher Reeve, it really is just like that when you go there. So, but of course, the star of the show, the main reason why people go to Mackinac Island is to stay at the Grand Hotel. And we stay there for 2 nights. If you've ever been to the Hotel Del Coronado in San Diego, where I live, it was built right around the same time, and it has that same old world grandeur. So it's just beautiful, but it was originally built by the Mackinac Island Hotel Company that had a partnership with 3 railroad companies and a steamship company, and they funded $250,000 to open that hotel in 1888. And so we get to stay there for 2 nights. The first night dinner is included, and you'll have to bring a nice outfit because guys, you got to wear a suit, and ladies, you got to wear a dress or a nice pair of pants and blouse. So, and it's really fun because these days, we don't have very many occasions anymore where we need to dress up, and they have a dress code in the hotel after 6 p.m. So it's really kind of fun. So the next day, we do the Mackinac Island horse-drawn carriage ride, which is very unique. There's not very many places you go where you do a horse-drawn carriage ride. That'll take us all around the island. And afterwards, we'll have free time to explore the quaint town. And of course, Mackinac Island is known for its fudge. And, the thing I always think of when I think of Mackinac Island is the smell of fudge and horse manure. It's kind of a strange combination, but they've got all different kinds of fudge there. And of course, a lot of great restaurants and shops too. And that evening, the second evening, you're on your own for dinner. But of course, you could eat at the hotel again if you wanted to. So from Mackinac Island, then we go back to the mainland and we head over to Frankenmuth, Michigan. Which is another place that a lot of people have heard about, but maybe have never been there. It's a charming little city, German city, that was founded by German Lutheran missionaries back in the day. And so, the streets are lined with Bavarian-style shops. Probably their most famous store, though, is Bronner's Christmas Wonderland that started back in 1945. It is said to be the world's largest Christmas store. It's got animated figures, illuminated lights, and there's over 50,000 items for sale. So it's just, it's quite a place. But Frankenmuth is got a lot of charm, and you'll enjoy that. So we'll head on into Canada the next day. We're headed over to Niagara Falls, Ontario. So you will need a passport in order to get into Canada. The first thing that we'll do when we get into Niagara Falls is we'll do the Journey Behind the Falls experience, which I think is one of the coolest things to do. They have these 130-year-old tunnels that were carved in the bedrock, and it leads right up to the backside of Horseshoe Falls. So you literally see the water falling in front of you through the window of the cave. You can also go out to an observation deck to see the falls from a different vantage point. You will probably get wet, but they do provide us ponchos, so it isn't too bad. And then, of course, we're in Niagara Falls also for 2 nights, so that's nice. And typically, our hotels are on the falls. And then in Niagara Falls, the next day, we spend pretty much the whole day sightseeing in the area. Uh, they have the famed Niagara Parkway with the hydrofloral clock that was built back in the 1950s. We'll see that. We also go up to the little town, the quaint town of Niagara-on-the-Lake, that today is known probably for its wineries. And they have the famous ice wine, which a lot of people want to try. It's a very sweet, concentrated dessert wine that's made from grapes that are frozen on the vine, and it's harvested in the winter. So that's a real popular thing for people to try. Also on this day, you do the Whitewater Walk, which is a boardwalk, quarter-mile boardwalk with views of the rapids on the Niagara Falls, or on the Niagara River before it goes over the falls. You'll do the Niagara Falls boat tour that takes you right up to the Thundering Falls, where you can get wet too, but again, they give us rain ponchos, so it's not too bad. But I think the crowning glory of this tour is our farewell dinner on the Skylon Tower, which is a revolving restaurant that overlooks the falls. It's 550 feet tall, but it sits about 775 feet above the gorge. And so you'll have views of the surrounding area in the falls as it rotates. And the food is very good too. So if you love charming destinations, meaningful history, scenic beauty, and those I can't believe I'm here moments, then this itinerary will deliver again and again. You'll really enjoy that tour. So I'm really looking forward to that tour this fall. Let's see, what are we on to next? Okay, Hawaii 3-Island. I did this last year. I'm going to be doing it again this year. I'll be doing the November 3rd through 11th departure. Love this tour. It's a nice balance of free time and scheduled time. We fly into Honolulu on Oahu. And of course, you do the meet and greet with the lei welcome. That's always fun when they put the lei around your neck. The next day, we do a tour of Honolulu, and we'll take you to see the state capitol building, the governor's mansion, Chinatown, King Kamehameha statue. But of course, the star of the show is to take you out to the USS Arizona Memorial, where we'll take a boat ride out to the sunken ship that pays tribute to the heroes who lost their lives on December 7th, 1941. There's also a visitor center there with a great film and exhibits. Now, another thing we do on that city tour is we take you out to the Punch Bowl crater, which is set within a dormant volcano that they say happened about 75 to 100,000 years ago. And within that crater is the National Cemetery of the Pacific, where over 50,000 veterans are buried, primarily from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. So that's day 2. And day 3, we have a nice opportunity just to do what we want to do. It's Honolulu at leisure. Every single island that we go to offers a day of leisure, but we also have an optional tour. And on Oahu, we take you on an Oahu Circle Island tour. And for a little bit of extra money, you can pay for an optional tour that will take you all around the island. And we circle the entire island of Oahu by coach, ocean views, rugged mountains. We'll see a lot of famous landmarks like Diamond Head, the Halano Boho, also the North Shore. It's of course popular for its huge waves. and a famous Dole plantation where we'll learn about Hawaii's rich pineapple history and also coffee too. So we also do stop at a Japanese style temple as part of that tour. So that's really well worth it if you haven't seen the island of Oahu before to sign up for that tour. Then we fly over to Hilo, the big island. And, these flights between these islands are, in most cases, 20 minutes to 45 minutes. So it's a really short flight. We fly into Hilo, which is on the windward side of the island, the wet side of the island. We visit Volcanoes National Park, established back in 1916, and it's home to two of the world's most active massive volcanoes, Kilauea and Mauna Loa. And we'll go to the Volcano House Resort, which I believe is kind of the temporary visitor center there right now. Their visitor center is being worked on. But when we were there last year, I guess it was last year, we saw views of the Kilauea volcano that's currently active, and we could see the lava spewing out. So that was pretty thrilling for a lot of people to see that. And then we head over to the other side of the island, the leeward side of the island, which is on the west side, to Kona Town, which is where we're going to be staying for 2 nights. En route, we stop at Honolulu Black Sand Volcanic Beach. That's really fun because they do also have sea turtles there that we usually see. And it's pretty neat just to walk on this black sand, which of course is volcanic ash. And then we have a free day in Kona, our first day there, and there are a lot of things that we can do in Kona. Our hotel is generally right on the waterfront there. There's an Atlantis submarine tour that you could take. Swimming with the manta rays is really popular. Helicopter rides, also play a round of golf or just shopping along Ali'i Drive, which is just right out the front door of our hotel. So it's very well located. Then our last island that we visit, we head over to Maui, the Valley Isle, as it's called, and we visit the Maui Tropical Plantation. We ride the Tropical Express tram, which is a 40-minute overview of Hawaii's famous tropical fruits and plants. And then we head over to our hotel. If it's a little bit before check-in, sometimes we'll take you to the Whalers Village Shopping Center, which is right next to our hotel, or in the hotel zone. And so you can see what's there. There's a lot of nice shops, a lot of nice restaurants that you can go to on your free time. Hotel accommodations will be on Kaanapali Beach for 3 nights, and that's really nice because everything's pretty much right there, right on Kaanapali Beach. There are several resort hotels there. There's a Kaanapali Beach Walk, which is a scenic path that connects all the resorts. The Whalers Village Shopping Center is right there. And then they also have the Kaanapali Trolley. That is a free trolley that picks up and drops off at our hotel and delivers you to wherever you want to go, basically, in that area. Scheduled stops. One of the neatest things in Kaanapali Beach is the cliff divers, which jump off the kind of the backside of the Sheraton Resort, off of right at sunset, right off the cliffs there. And so people like to gather right at sunset, maybe have a cocktail and watch the cliff divers dive into the water. Very cool. We do have a day at leisure in Maui too. However, we offer an optional whale watching cruise, which is 4 hours, generally door to door. And every winter between fall and spring, more than 8,000 humpback whales migrate over 3,500 miles to the warm Pacific waters of Hawaii to mate, birth, and nurse their calves. And most of the whales are migrating from Alaska. So we learn a lot when we do that cruise. There's an experienced captain and crew that is there to help us find whales. And you can sometimes hear the humpback whales singing, and we may also see spinner dolphins. Other things that you could do during your free time in Maui, a lot of people will sign up on sunset cruises. So that's a very popular thing too. But there is a person at the hotel, concierge, that will help you with anything like that you want to do on your own. But then we go to Mount Haleakala National Park, uh, which is a dormant volcano. We travel from sea level all the way up to about 10,000 feet. And at the summit, we see this crater that's like 7.5 miles long by 2.5 miles wide and 3,000 feet deep. And you get just amazing views of the island, all over the island. And so that's kind of day 8 of the trip, the big journey. And then we come back to the hotel for a farewell luau dinner with traditional food, dancing, and music. That's fun. And then we fly. Well, I shouldn't leave out day 9. We do go to the airport, but en route to the airport, we take you to the Needle Valley, which is a very lush area. It's usually pretty misty there with waterfalls and tropical foliage. And the Needle, as it's called, is a 2,000-foot rock formation that rises from the valley floor. And so it's kind of a nice last thing to do before we head to the airport, which is in Kahului on the other side of Maui. So yeah, the itinerary is very special. It gives you the very best of Hawaii without having to choose just one island. And like I said before, it's just really nice that you can, you've got one free day everywhere you go. So you can kind of be as busy as you want to be on that trip. Okay, next one. Sedona. Who doesn't like going to Sedona? My trip is December 2nd through the 6th. It's 5 days. And we fly in and out of Phoenix. And we'll head up to Sedona. First thing we do when we get to Sedona is the guided trolley tour, which, by the way, Sedona is named after Sedona Schnebly. Try to say that 3 times. And she was the wife of the city's first postmaster, Theodore Schnebly. And so we are going to take this trolley tour. You get to see some of these beautiful red rocks, which, by the way, are called the Schnebly Formation, estimated to be about 300 million years old. And we'll take that tour, see these beautiful rock formations, some of that indigenous vegetation, like the juniper trees. Also, energy vortexes, that's a big thing that you'll learn about on this tour, as well as the history of the area. But the trolley takes you out to the Chapel of the Holy Cross, which is one of the main energy vortexes. And that project to build the Chapel of the Holy Cross was inspired by a sculptor and local rancher by the name of Marguerite Brunswick Stout. And she was a student of Frank Lloyd Wright. So we do that, and then we conclude out at Airport Mesa for another great view of the rocks. So the Sedona trolley tour is great. You'll like that. We end up back in the village of Sedona, which is very lively, uptown village. It's the heart of town. There's lots of restaurants, shopping. It should be decorated very nice for the holidays, decked out. There's also village of Tlaquepaque right there, which is an upscale shopping center with art gallery, shops, and restaurants, which is always decorated really nicely for the holidays. An optional thing that you could also do on that day is take one of the Jeep tours into Sedona's backcountry. So that's going to be something that will be offered to you that you might want to do. Day 3, we're going to take you up to the Grand Canyon, which, by the way, you're spending all 4 nights of this tour in Sedona. So we're always coming back to the same hotel. So the day we go up to the Grand Canyon, which is about an hour-and-a-half drive each way, we will stop at we'll go through Oak Creek Canyon, which is a beautiful drive between Sedona and Flagstaff. It's a 16-mile long canyon that is famous for its colored cliffs and all of its beautiful vegetation, like the pine and the cypress and the juniper. And we'll head up to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. You'll have some free time there for lunch on your own at the Bright Angel Lodge or the El Tovar Lodge. Walk along the south rim of the Grand Canyon right there for spectacular views. And then we'll hop back on the bus and we're going to exit out the park on the east side. So we'll take you all along the south rim of the Grand Canyon. We'll make some stops along the way. One of the favorite stops is the Desert View Tower, which is, of course, one of the projects that architect Mary Jane Coulter was involved with, along with Fred Harvey, who is the financier. So you'll learn all about that. We're going to go to the Cameron Trading Post, which is just on the outside of the park. And there are beautiful Navajo art and jewelry shop there. It's right on the Navajo reservation. So good prices. People enjoy that. Our last day on that trip, we're going to take you to Montezuma's Castle National Monument and see the ruins of a cliff dwelling that was built in the 12th and 13th centuries by the Sinawa people. And we're also going to take you up to Jerome Ghost Town, an old mining town that was once a virtual ghost town, but it's now been restored with museums and art galleries. And we'll visit the Douglas Mansion, which is part of the Jerome State Historic Park. It was built in 1916 by a family of influential entrepreneurs. And so that's pretty much it as far as the tour goes. We go back to Phoenix the last day to fly out, but it's just a nice combination of natural beauty, history, and the festive holiday charm. And I mean, just can't beat it. So everybody loves Sedona.
And this one's the last tour we'll cover.
Okay. Sunny San Diego. I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to talk about this trip because this is where I live. I've done this tour a number of times. It's a fairly new program for AFC, but I think it's a great program. So I always feel like San Diego is like California's best kept secret. Everybody goes to LA or San Francisco, but they don't always go to San Diego. But when people come here, they're always like, wow, why didn't I know about this? So it's a great program. We are in San Diego for 5 nights at the same hotel. You fly in and out of San Diego. And on this program, we're going to take the Amtrak Pacific Surfliner train up the coast to the Mission San Juan Capistrano, the town of San Juan Capistrano. You'll travel through the Marine Base Camp Pendleton en route. The mission is over 200 years old, and it's most famous for the annual return of the cliff swallows from Argentina every March 19th or thereabouts. And so that's fun to go up there and see that mission. Then we'll hop on the bus. Our bus is going to meet us up there, and we'll come back via La Jolla, the town of La Jolla. And La Jolla, of course, is famous for its 7 caves, its beautiful coastal scenery that has been the inspiration for a lot of landscape artists. We'll give you time to walk along the scenic waterfront at La Jolla Cove. Day 3 on that tour, we're going to take you on a city tour of San Diego. I'm going to, and we'll cover the downtown area, Embarcadero or waterfront, the Gaslamp Quarter, take you over to Coronado to see the Hotel Del Coronado, and I'll tell you about how it was famous, of course, for all 16 presidents visiting it over the course of time. Some Like It Hot movie with Marilyn Monroe was filmed there. There's so many other superlatives that I'll tell you about when it comes to that hotel. And finally, we're going to take you out to Point Loma to see the Cabrillo National Monument, which is kind of a fun thing to do because it's not that something that we get to do always on city tours, but this one is going to do it. So we go out onto the tip of Point Loma and we see the statue of Juan Cabrillo, which of course is the Portuguese, Spanish, that's debatable, sailor who first planted the flag at the tip of Point Loma in 1542, naming it for Spain. So out there, you get spectacular views from the tip of the peninsula. There's a historic lighthouse. being a national park since 1913, of course, it has a very nice visitor center. So that's also where our national cemetery is located. So I will tell you about that, as well as Naval Station Point Loma, which has been basically a military station since the Spanish days, but it's evolved over the years from an Army post to a Navy post. And so that's a really fun part of this tour. On that same day, we're going to head back downtown, right across from your hotel, and we're going to do the San Diego Harbor Cruise, which is narrated. It takes you under the Coronado Bridge past some of the Navy ships and other waterfront landmarks. And finally, on that day, you're going to go through the USS Midway Museum, former aircraft carrier, active aircraft carrier that saw action in both the Korean and Vietnam Wars. Went into service in 1945, about 2 years after the conclusion, or 2 years, 2 weeks after the conclusion of World War II, and went out of service right after Desert Storm in 1992. It's really interesting, compared to our carriers today, which are all nuclear powered or Nimitz class. It's quite primitive. It is not Nimitz class. It is powered by oil and steam. So you can take a tour down into the belly of the ship and see where the sailors' living quarters used to be, or well, they aren't anymore. But and you can also go down to the boiler room, which was, of course, the worst job on the ship, because temperatures down there would be about 100 degrees. So yeah, that's an amazing thing to see. And they've done a wonderful job at the USS Midway Museum, making that a world-class museum. We're also going to take you up to Palm Springs and also the wine country on day 4. In Palm Springs, we put a local guide on the bus that will take you on a tour to see some of the celebrity homes, the old movie colony and the Las Palmas areas of Palm Springs, to see where some of the legendary stars like Frank Sinatra, Elizabeth Taylor, Sonny and Cher, Bob Hope, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, Liberace, all those stars lived back in the day. And then you'll have time to have lunch in the charming village area in downtown Palm Springs. On the way home, then we're going to stop in Temecula, which is Southern California's wine country. And we're going to take you to the oldest winery, the original winery in Temecula, called Bella Vista. Dates back to 1968 when they planted their first vines, and opened it commercially in 1978. But you'll get a chance to do a wine tasting there. And Temecula, if you have never been before, has over 40 wineries now. And so it's quite a significant wine tasting area. And it's also become a big culinary destination. So people come up there and go up there on the weekends, and will stay the weekend at bed and breakfasts and, wine and dine themselves. Our last day in San Diego is at the world famous San Diego Zoo. And en route, we're going to drive through scenic Balboa Park. And at the zoo, of course, we will get a chance to see it all. The zoo really isn't that big. It's only 100 acres, but there's 4,000 animals. There's 650 species of animals. And I personally think it's, the nicest zoo in the United States. And it's not even close. So, but we'll take the open air double-decker guided bus tour, which is included with your visit. Take you around the perimeter of all through the zoo, and it's great narration that they do. And so then you can kind of decide what you want to come back to. But of course, the zoo is most famous for its California condor. They single-handedly kept the California condor from extinction. Also, they have the largest collection of koalas outside of Australia and the largest collection of pandas outside of China. So another thing that's included there, you'll do the aerial tram, which takes you over the top. And so you can see the whole zoo below. And so that's really nice. So you'll have plenty of time to see the zoo, and we'll do the farewell dinner that night. And then the next day you fly home. So it's just a great trip. Sunny San Diego, the ocean breezes, iconic landmarks, just kind of a perfect mix of guided touring and free exploration. And I think it just delivers some of the best things in Southern California. So I know you'll enjoy it. And I can't wait to show you if you come here to San Diego.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. If you want to say a last goodbye to everybody, go for it.
Goodbye, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope to see you on a trip coming up this year. Thank you.
Thanks so much. So for those of you who are attending and who are able to by tomorrow, if you do book a new 2026 tour or European river cruise by tomorrow, we are still honoring the $99 deposit that's going out on the brochure. So you can sign up for a trip for a low-cost deposit if you purchase with your travel insurance. And then our one cabin category upgrade is available for our European river cruises for the remaining cruises that we have for 2026. And how that works is if you book a lower category at the lower price, you're automatically upgraded to the category above it. I usually recommend going from D to C, which takes you from the lower deck to the middle deck, or from B to A. Again, it also provides better spacing in the cabin, better location on the ship, and it can save up to $400 per person. The suites are not applicable for the one cabin category upgrade, but it really is a great way to save money and get the better location on board. Use the code TRAVEL with Mark by Friday for that low deposit and that one cabin category upgrade. And how to book, you can reach Joe, Holly, April, or Samantha at their email addresses at afctours.com. You can also call us at our 1-800-369-3693 phone number, or visit us online, afcvacations.com, and see the great array of trips that we do offer all around the country. If we covered all of them in today's show, I'd be here for 2 hours, but we wanted to maximize the time with you. And another big thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to Mark for coming on, and we really appreciate your time. If you do have any questions or feedback about the show, areas that you want to hear about a little bit more in depth, you can email April at afctours.com, and we look forward to the next show with you. Thank you all so much, and have a great day.
Thank you.